And welcome to the Allen Americans podcast, joined by the newest member of the Allen Americans, back for a second year, Colton Heffley. Well, first of all, great to have you back, Huff. And what have you been doing during this pandemic? How busy have you been?
Not too busy. Just been working out and trying to stay in shape, waiting for the call to come back. That's about it so far.
Well, the good news is we're going to have a season this year. Looks like we're starting in December, a little bit later than normal, but it's not such a bad thing. I'm kind of excited about the December start. I mean, for us, with Allen football here and as big as the Eagles are in this city, we always have to fight for attendance on the weekend dates early on because of high school football and college football. So starting a couple months later might not be such a bad thing.
Yeah, it'll be good. Excited to hopefully get as many fans in as we can, and we'll see what happens from there.
Well, you played 8 games with us last year, and you were able to pick up your first goal as a pro. Talk about stepping in there at the end of the season last year. How comfortable were you? And just give me your take on how our room fared.
Oh, it was really good. I mean, all the guys were awesome. They welcomed me with open arms, and there's great team chemistry there, so it was pretty easy to fit in with the room. Coming in to a new team pretty much at the end of the season is a little tough, so that took some time to get used to playing with certain guys, and how things were. I'd sit a couple games, there was call ups and call downs, so it was a little bit of a whirlwind, but excited to start fresh right from the beginning and be there hopefully the whole year here, and hopefully have a good year again.
Did you know anybody in our locker room coming in last year?
I'd played against a couple guys in the dub, and I'd been at training camp in Minnesota with Cody Corbett about 4 or 5 years ago. So I kind of remembered him, but it'd been a long time since we've talked. So that was about as far as I'd gone with a lot of those guys.
Well, you had quite the career before the pros. Tell us about Kelowna and your long time there. Obviously, put up some good numbers, and in the press release, Steve Martinson mentioned yesterday, not only are you a good defensive forward, but you're also somebody that can put the puck in the net as well.
Yeah, Kelowna was great. I mean, I had 2 really, really good coaches there that really developed me as a player. I came there, I was pretty raw when I was 16, and they really stressed the defensive aspect. Being a big center, you have to be good in your own zone, and we had a lot of really talented guys, so I had a role right away as a PK guy, and got some time on the power play there, and definitely got to watch some really good hockey players and learn from them. So I think that's definitely helped me out moving forward here.
And then after the WHL, you went the route of college hockey. Tell us about that decision. What came into that?
Well, the WHL is a great scholarship program, and I really want to take advantage of that. So I went there for 4 years and got my business degree, and is paid for from the league. So, I mean, it's a pretty easy decision for me to do that. And, coming here now and having that degree to fall on if things don't work out, it was a pretty easy decision for me. And, college life was a lot of fun. You made a ton of friends there and a ton of connections for later in life. So for me, it was a pretty easy decision to do that first, and then come do this later.
What's the biggest challenge when you come from college hockey or come from from major junior to the minor pro? And I know you only played in a handful of games last year, but is there a big difference in the speed of the game and in just the way that they play the style in the ECHL minor league hockey as opposed to the university level or the WHL?
It's definitely a lot more skilled. I mean, you got guys that are smart and obviously very smart players, and they know how to build speed and create space. And, the first couple of games, it takes a while to adjust to that. Even little things like how the refs or the linesmen drop the pucks for faceoffs is completely different than college was. So just learning those little things that the guys in pro know how to do and just puts them above where you come from at a lower level is just huge. So for me, it was just those little things you learn, and even 8 games in, you learn some things pretty quick, and that's the biggest thing for me.
Colton Heffley, of course, signed a contract the other day, and excited to have him back. When you come to a new locker room, obviously you don't want to do too much. You're trying to learn the system, but What is it like walking into a room? Because obviously you want to show everybody what you can do right away. You know, you're not going to get a whole lot of opportunities, when you're down to the final games of the year. And of course, our season being cut short last year because of COVID. Talk about that walking into, especially in the pros. How tough is that?
It's a little intimidating for sure. I mean, especially coming to a team like Allen that was in first place, and I mean the group of forwards and that you had to come in and compete against to get some ice time. It's pretty tough. Like there's a lot of good players on the team last year, and same with this year. But I think the biggest thing for me coming in was just playing a role to help the team win, and not trying to do things that's just doing my job and not trying to do too much, and letting the game come to me.
You talked about the talent in the locker room, and just for the fans, we got spoiled here. We've been spoiled here over the years with 4 championships in 4 straight years. But talk about the talent in the room. I don't think a lot of people realized how good we really were. And I may be biased because I've been with this team a long time, but I thought, our talent level last year and the chemistry we had in the room compared to our 4 championship teams. But talk about that as a professional hockey player. How good was this team?
Skill wise, like one of the best teams I've played on. And in Kelowna we had some really skilled teams, and here too is just there's 10 guys that were on the ice, and all of them can play power play, and they could all be first liners other places, and they just all came together. And some guys had to play a more defensive role, and everyone just kind of bought in, and that's right away. It was just came in and everyone knew their role and they did it. And I mean, that's just how this team was. And it was I thought it was going to be a pretty good playoff run. So it was kind of disappointing to not be able to do that.
Absolutely. You play with guys in the junior level that wind up going to the NHL. When you give me a couple guys you played with that have now gone on to the National Hockey League. When you're playing at that lower level, and maybe even guys you played with before you got to major junior, is it almost like where you get to this point where some guys go one way, some guys go the other? Are there guys that you watch play growing up that you thought, wow, I'm better than they are, but then all of a sudden they take that step, and the next thing you know, they're getting drafted and going to the National Hockey League?
There's definitely some guys that you just knew right from the get-go that they were going to be NHLers. My first year in Kelowna, we had Tyson Bear as our captain, and
wow.
I mean, he was just so much better than everyone else. Like he was so fast and smart, and I mean, everyone kind of knew where he was going to be. And then there's a lot of guys that were going to be really good, and they just kept working really hard and just made that extra step that they might not have made if they didn't work as hard. So, I mean, definitely watching those kind of guys and learning their work ethic and little things they do in practice and just trying to soak it all up as much as you can is huge. So, but for me, Tyson, right from the get-go, was, I mean, guy you just look up to and watch and try to model your game after.
Pretty good name. Colton Heffley joining us here on the Americans podcast. More than ever, is it this year? It's you can't wait to get back because of the pandemic, and I know it's going to be about 10 months in between games for us when we finally get it cranked up here. Is it one of those where you're itching now to get back to game action?
Oh, for sure. I mean, usually about August, everyone, you're ready to go. And, now another couple months added to it is just, you're kind of going crazy. Not being able to be on the ice every day and, with the team and, obviously playing games. So, that first game's, it's going to be pretty stressful, I think, before the game, just to see where you are compared to everyone else's with such a long break. So it'll be exciting. So we'll hopefully it'll be coming soon here in December and get to it.
Do you skate with any NHL players in the off season?
In Kelowna, we had a pretty good group of guys. A lot of guys that played in the American League. Well, obviously not NHL guys right now because they were all in the bubble, but there's a couple guys we usually skate with. And here in Swift Current, there's 1 or 2 guys that are playing in the NHL or the American League. So usually there's a pretty good group wherever I am here to skate. And, it's nice to be home now, and I don't get to come home a lot, so it's kind of nice. But yeah, there's always a couple guys here and there for me to skate with, so that always helps.
What are you most looking forward to about coming back to Texas?
Man, I want to go see a Dallas Cowboys game. I'm a big football fan, and obviously the Cowboys Stadium is probably one of the nice stadiums in the league. So definitely going to one of those games would be pretty cool. And obviously stepping back on the ice and getting to it as well. So.
Do you play fantasy football?
Yeah, I do have a league with a couple of my old teammates in Dalhousie. So that's ramping up now, and things are going good for me so far. I got Dak Prescott now, so
Wow.
Dallas keeps doing well.
Yeah, I tell you what, he's really turned his game up the last couple of years, turned into one of the top quarterbacks in the league. Good for him. And tell you what, the Cowboys, I know they struggled last week. They finally got it going late and came back from behind and beat Atlanta. But you look at the weapons that Prescott's got with, CeeDee Lamb, one of the most exciting rookies. I think got a good chance for Rookie of the Year this year. And then he's got Amari Cooper on one side. It's amazing the talent they have. And Elliott, obviously one of the best running backs in football. Best chance for the Cowboys to win a Super Bowl in a long time. Knock on wood.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they got a great offense. They got Gallup and Lamb and Prescott and Zeke, and as long as their defense can step it up too, I think they have a really good shot.
Well, I'll tell you what, I had the pleasure of sitting next to you on the plane ride. Was it back? Maybe it was both back to and from Utah last year.
Yeah, I think it was both.
That was a tough trip. I think I remember most about that is being the most popular guy on the plane because I had the sanitizing wipes.
Yeah.
We wiped down all those seats before we sat down, and it's a new lifestyle. Have you ever, gotten used to wearing a mask, or is that one of those things I don't know if we'll ever get used
to? No, I mean, I'm not used to it yet. Sometimes you kind of get out of the vehicle and you almost forget and you have to go back in and grab it. And, even wearing it's still a little weird, but I mean, we all got to do our part here and hopefully we can stem the tide.
Colton, it was great catching up with you, buddy. We're excited to have you back in Allen. We should have another great team this year, and look forward to seeing you in November.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing you too. Thanks a lot.
You got it, buddy. That's Colton Heffley.